Hi, guess who this is? It's not Rusty 78609 in Central Texas, USA, even though I may remind you of that individual. I am me, whoever that is. Today is May 7th, 2016, and I am in Central Texas, USA. And right now it's about 66 degrees. It's going to be 84 today, and next week we get into the 90s. And by June, July, August, and part of September, we'll be in the hundreds. And won't that be exciting? So anyway, it's clear, nice, got a little breeze. I was going to do these videos on the patio today, but the wind's blowing just a little bit, and you hear this all it does is it blows and the speakers go. So I didn't want to trouble my viewers with that kind of crap since I have this nice studio inside my RV with perfect lighting. I got the dark side of the moon here and the bright side of the moon here. So that's no additional charge. Took a while to design that, I have to tell you. And anyway, I had a comment from a fella yesterday. Don't remember his name. I don't like to mention the name. I will occasionally, rarely. But anyway, this guy was wanting to, I guess, fully retire, and said he had about $1,200 a month coming in, or would have, or does have on Social Security, $1,200 a month, and was wanting to know if he could, if he might be able to make it on that. And you know, he kind of liked the way I live. Well, I'll tell you exactly how I make it. My Social Security runs about the same amount, and it. But let me say, I mean, I live in an RV. I mean, I don't live in an apartment where you pay rent. If I lived in an apartment here in this part of Texas, I'd have to pay a minimum of $700 a month in rent, unless I went into government housing, which probably wouldn't qualify for. But even if I did, it'd still be 300 something a month. So, and right now, the only thing, my land's paid for. Okay, the only debt I have property taxes. I'll tell you what I've got. My total budget for my all expenses, and that's padding all these expenses a little bit, is about $1,120 a month. Okay, and that includes everything. I've got a car payment of $275. Car insurance is $60, and that includes RV because it's included with the car insurance. My gasoline for the car runs about $60 a month, unless I go traveling. I haven't been pulling my RV in the past year or so. I've been going camping in my Toyota Prius, and when I go camping in my Prius, you know, camping fees are virtually nothing because I stay in the tent sites, or I'll stay at national parks where I get 50% discount for being a senior citizen. It's usually anywhere from $4 to $7 a night, which is nothing. And I go for you know, sometimes I'll go for a month or so at a time, not too long. But anyway, so that's a whole different budget. But at home base where I am right now, that's what I'm giving you. My internet service is $35 a month, and that's unlimited talk, text, and 2.5 gigabytes of data through Cricket Wireless. They use AT&T towers. Check them out. My RV payment, I pay $200 a month on that. I could pay as little as $125, but I'm trying to get it paid off a little early. My electricity runs about $60 a month. I don't have garbage pickup. Since I only generate like one little bag, what I do, all the glass bottles go in a spot outside. All the aluminum cans and plastic bottles, I don't have any plastic bottles, but if I did, they'd go in the same spot. I take those to the recycling place, so that takes care of plastic bottles, cans, and glass bottles. And then all the burnable trash, uh, I put in the. I've got a place to burn it. I built a little thing out of cinder box, and I just burn it. So very rarely do I have any trash to haul. I've got an old TV I need to get rid of, but that's another situation. My Wi-Fi internet is $55 a month. My water for 2,000 gallons a month is $62. Propane is practically nothing. It averages about half a bottle a month, which is $5, $6. Groceries, that's everything I buy at the grocery store: toilet paper, paper towel. Everything I buy at the grocery store is about $175 a month. Beer and wine run me about 100 a month, and then I threw in $100 for miscellaneous, which that takes care of. I go to a dermatologist twice a year. The first time I go, I've got to pay the Medicare deductible, which I think is around 145 or $150. And then the second time I go, that's really practically nothing. So all that's included in there. And then, I got my Social Security income, and then I make a little bit doing these wine tasting events. So, I'm fine. I'm doing okay. And as long as something doesn't break down, nothing serious. I mean, well, like I had some extra expenses in the past week or two because of that storm. I had to buy me another TV, and I bought me a Vizio platform speaker or whatever they call it, and those two together were $230 for both of them. But anyway, so that gives you an idea of the budget. Now, of course, what you got to do to get there, is you're going to have to find you a piece of property, and I've got a video on this where what you can do. You can check them out. Uh, you can go to some of these. Now, I live in Texas. Now, I don't know where you live, and I don't know how it is in your state, but you can go to some of these little areas that are unincorporated. In other words, it's just a township with no police department, no taxing, no city taxes, no nothing. And usually in those areas, you can find property, small or lots that are unrestricted. And you can purchase those fairly reasonable. And 9 times out of 10, you could get owner financing if you wanted to. Uh, but if you do get the deed and with it, because you can do a contract for deed, depending, but that's a 50-50 situation doing a contract for deed. What that means is the owner holds that deed until you fully pay for it, then they transfer it to you. As long as nothing happens in that period that you're paying on it, you're in good shape. But if that guy gets a tax lien slapped on him, guess what? You get it too, because you don't own that property. Okay, you're just there. So if he deeds it to you at some point, that tax lien is going to come right along with it. So be aware of that. But if you can find you an inexpensive piece of property, then add the utilities. Of course, if there's utilities there, if you the ideal spot, and I looked for them, and I found a few of them. They're available. You find you a place where a guy had a mobile home, and the mobile home is no longer there. For some reason, it gets burned down, or they pulled it off, and that lot or piece of land just has all the utilities sitting there ready to go. And that's what you'd like to do, because that way you get everything for a whole lot less money. Because if you go in on a raw piece of land and you've got to put in a water well, that can cost you some serious bucks. I would imagine a minimum of 5,000 to 10,000, minimum of five, minimum. And now, if there's water, if it's a community water supply in the area, you can hook up to that. Now, some of them won't be much. Some of them will be $500, $600, $700, $800, and then some of them can get into the thousands, just depending on the community water system, how it's set up. But that can be done. And as far as electric, uh, you got to know your rules there, because if there is no power on the property that you can connect to, and you're going to have it brought in, that can be serious bucks too, because they charge you by the mile, and it's not pennies, okay? But again, ideally, if you can find a place where there was a mobile home that's either burned down or somebody hauled it off, then find out who owns that property. And you can do that. Go to the appraisal district and find out who owns it. And you can also go to the tax office, county clerk's office, and get the property identification, all the stuff you need, and go to the tax office or the county clerk's office, and you can find out. You can actually go look and see if there are any liens against that property. Okay, and once you've ascertained that, then if there are no liens, make an offer on the property or contact the owner and see if it's for sale. Maybe they'll rent it to you or something. But again, that's the only way to do it. My budget, again, what I've got now, and of course, property taxes run me about $12 a month. Okay, that's everything. It's city and county. I'm not, excuse me, not city. It's county and school, and that's it. $140 a year, and it works perfectly. In this area, there used to be some places available. Now they've got the property owner association's gotten active again in the past 3 years, and so people like me ain't going to come in here anymore because they're not going to let you. But since I'm here and I've owned this property for about 12 years. I'm, quote, they said grandfathered in, which the only reason they grandfathered me in is because my place is neat and it's alleyway, and it's not an eyesore, okay? And but anyway, that's how you can do it, and you just have to find you a spot, because if you've got to rent, then it ain't gonna work. Not on 1,200 a month. Mm-mm. If you got to buy, ain't gonna work. If you got to buy a home, ain't gonna work either. No, sir, it isn't. And if you got to live in an RV park, 50-50. You can find you an old dumpy RV park, and but still you're going to pay minimum of 200 a month. Minimum. I mean, that's a ghetto place. Or you can go to a mobile home park. Sometimes they let RVs come in there, but they're still 200 to 300 a month. And that's, of course, they pay the water. They do. And the garbage. They do. And usually they take care of the lawns. Usually. And, that's a possibility, but that's that's going to be a tight budget. Yeah. But again, if you can be debt free, see, my goal, as I mentioned in my reply to your on the video page, uh, when I was debt free up until 3 years ago, my budget was $700 a month. Okay, 700. Okay, that's 700. You got me? That's less. You can't live under a bridge any cheaper than that. Do I have to live this cheap? No. I can do a million things, but I don't want to. I'm happy. I'm contented. I sleep good at night. I listen to the birds chirp out here. I've got 2 sons and a grandson. I don't see them very often, rarely actually. And that's just life, folks. Grow up. So, uh, having said that, I wish you luck. If you have a question, leave a comment, and I'll certainly respond to it either with a video or on the video itself, and let you know what I think. But again, you should be able to find you a decent piece, a lot. That's all you need, just a lot, And just be sure you check the restrictions to be sure that they're not going to come in there after you get all set up and say, "Sorry, fella, you can't do this." Okay, that would be very upsetting, right? So, RV parks, I got tired of them, man. I really did. They're okay. Some of them are okay, but it's just what it is. It's an RV park, folks. So, anyway, enjoy your day. Carpe diem. Adios, amigos. Bye. Getting better at that. Getting better.